Welcome to another conversation. This is the Black Male Impact with Richard A. Cross. Today we have with us Javay Welter, and he's an exceptional educator. He loves his job and he goes above and beyond to serve his students. But before we get into the conversation, I'm going to allow Mr. Welter to share with you something about himself.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Richards, for the opportunity, and thank you to our listeners who are about to receive this. I am an educator, and I'm also a leader for teaching and learning in a school in England. I was also the past president for Birmingham Teachers in the UK, representing 9,000 teachers. I'm also the co-founder of the Black Teachers Network. It was the first one for the NASWT, which was my union. And a little bit about me. I was born in England. Subsequently, I spent my formative years in the Caribbean. I was raised in the island of Martinique. Therefore, I learned how to speak French and Creole. And I came back to England after 10 years in 2001. However, I had to learn English all over again. So I was put in the bottom sets and I was written off. There was low expectations come back to England. I left school with only one qualification, which was French at the time, because I struggled with English. So I retook all my qualifications and I ended up passing them, and I got accepted into 3 universities and graduated with a master's degree. And now I speak 4 languages.
Wow, that is awesome. What that just said to me, and I know to the listeners, that it doesn't matter what happened, don't give up on yourself, because sometimes you may try and you don't succeed, but that doesn't mean you don't have the ability to do great. All right. So thanks to Welter for being here with us. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And, you speak 4 languages and you started the Black Teachers Union in England, which was the first. I wish we could talk about that initiative, but we'll see where the conversation goes as we talk about different things and how to make an impact and inspire positive change. So my first question to you, what is the mindset that it takes to make a positive impact?
Great question. You need to have a growth mindset. You need to think about the 2 O's. Obstacles, but in obstacles, there's also opportunities.
Okay.
And that's one of the great mindset. You need to start thinking outside the box. So you need to focus on the positive. However, you need to embrace adversity and challenges. The great Dr. Martin Luther King highlighted that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort or convenience, but where he stands in times of adversity and controversy. So adversity, I believe, can break you. However, it can allow you to break records and do something that's not been done before. I've learned a lot from adversity. My whole life, there's been adversity. Even today, it does not stop. And these failures and adversity makes you stronger. And importantly, one thing I'll say about mindset is the ego. You need to make sure that you let go of that ego and you're not competing with others, because at the end of the day, everyone is different and everyone brings something different to the table. For example, if you look at the body, the analogy, each part of the body is important and it plays its part. So just like you watching here, you all play your part in your greatness.
Man, that is, that in itself, let go of ego, and with seeing obstacles as opportunity, that in itself could have been an entire conversation, especially when it comes to us as Black men and what we need to do to make a difference, not just in our lives, but what we do will impact and affect others and stuff like that. So that is great to have. A growth mindset is important. It has been something that has been stressed for the past years, especially when we want to make change. And that quote by Dr. Martin Luther King, man, it is powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And listeners, I hope you have heard that quote. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to say it wrong. But that was really important, and I really appreciate that. So my next question to you, what advice do you have for the men listening on how they can play a role in creating positive change?
My advice will be to look beyond your circumstance. Your circumstance is no indication of your potential. Your potential is unlimited. And if you look at my story, for example, what I didn't tell you, it was not that I was bottom of the class. I was bottom of the whole cohort, the whole school. When I came back, the school prevented me from doing, at the time in the UK, known as SATs. So they prevented me from doing lots of examination. However, I never gave up. I used that to learn more at home. I studied several words each night, 30 words in the thesaurus. But my message is to think about generational planning. Think about what legacy you want to leave on the earth. Think strategically. The process is vital. Do not only think about the outcome, but you need to start thinking of how many steps will it take to get to your greatness, because we're all on a journey. Include all of us are on a journey. So if you're listening to this, I know that you've got greatness within you. And importantly, you are a chosen generation. Everyone watching this, you should walk by, not just by sight, but also by faith. You're the best we've got now, because if you look at the history, well, there's always been a struggle. As Frederick Douglass say, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. So right now, you need to lead the next generation. You need to come out your comfort zone. You need to be deformed, to be transformed. This is your chance to shine.
Man, this is great. Listeners, Mr. Welter just shared some powerful nuggets as a reminder to us all. We must see ourselves as the one, as the generation to inspire positive change, because the next generation is looking to us to lead them in, to let them see what is possible. So we have to challenge ourselves to do and be and achieve all we can, because if we don't do, we can't leave it to the next generation. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm going to go straight into my next question. How can we as Black men help to change the narrative today? And as I said to the person before in one of the interviews, because someone else said it to me about the violence between us. And as you mentioned with the ego, it may ties into this part of the question, but how can we as Black men help to change the narrative today?
We can change the narrative by leaving a positive legacy. What you've talked about is been what's known as generational. We need to break the cycle. There's been a cycle that's been going on for us. So we need to start developing character and networking, because as you said, there's been an ego. There's been lots of ego. So ego, which means in Latin, I. We need to start thinking of teamwork and collaboration, which are 21st century skills. We need to start looking at how, for example, you, Dr. Richard, you're collaborating overseas with people. We need to think about no one is an island. We can learn from each other, and there's room at the table for everyone. We also need to start thinking about developing ourselves emotionally, but spiritually as well. I think spiritually is the big thing we need to look at with the next generation. If we get that right, character, spiritual, and education, we will get very far. And Nelson Mandela got a quote that says, a good head with a good heart forms a formidable combination. So we need to have that heart with a spiritual aspect, but also we have a greatness in our DNA, and we need to manifest it. Marcus Garvey has a quote which states that if we knew our greatness, we will be less inclined to disrespect each other. So we need to know our greatness, and we need to value our worth. We are valuable. We need to focus on excellence, Black excellence. We are diamonds, as the famous preacher and motivator in America said, Eric Thomas. We come from pressure. Diamonds are created through pressure.
Yes.
And I believe that's the same with us. Pressure is needed, and it creates our breakthrough. And this is what we need, something to be our breakthrough.
Yeah. I would ask you to repeat that quote. I think it was, you said, by Nelson Mandela.
Yes, Nelson Mandela mentioned that a good head and a good heart form a formidable combination.
Okay. What did Marcus Garvey said? That quote.
Marcus Garvey mentioned that if we knew from what greatness we came from, we'll be less inclined to disrespect each other and disrespect ourselves. So we need to focus on our greatness, because there's been lots of great things that's happened before. We need to, for example, analyze and strategize, and mentorship is important.
Man, that those two quotes are powerful, and I really appreciate you sharing that. And so my question, I know you reached to this point on your journey, and I know you say you didn't start off well, or how they have perceived you. So I want to ask this question: what was a pivotal moment in your life that helped you to decide to pursue what you're now pursuing, or just to see yourself beyond the limitations that they have placed on you? What was that pivotal moment?
So a pivotal moment was when I read a book. Reading can change your perspective, as what's his name said, Malcolm X, can change a man's perspective. So I read a book known as The Power of Positive Thinking. I think that's by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale.
Correct. Right.
And this book, I noticed that it's increased the possibility in my mind. And I was thinking about things that I was not thinking before. Things were possible. And my mind was blocked. And I was thinking about possibilities and probabilities. And also a pivotal moment was when I was at uni, my third year of uni. I did a dissertation, a thesis on disaffected youth and how they can be re-engaged in education. And the research showed me that there was a lack of achievement for Black children, but it was generational in the UK. And I believe that's the same globally. And this also, doing that research, I noticed that there was a lack of real initiatives for people like me and you. So I decided to pursue education and be an educator that way. However, there was many obstacles in my way. I discovered there was many doors shut. I applied 30 times for teacher training, rejected every occasion. They never wanted to let me in, but I got through. I will tell you this story, how I got through. It was when I went to a top prestigious university. I applied there, the same one as a Queen granddaughter. I thought I was not going to get in, but I came across this man. He's known as Welter. What he did is he was a Maui, and he told me, I've been searching for someone like you, a young Black male. And he told me I was the first one to come on the course. And what I did there is I left my comfort zone. I went all the way down south. And that was a pivotal moment, which helped me get to where I am now. And also getting married to my beautiful wife.
That's right. That's right. A lot of great things happen. But, you know, when you leave your comfort zone, a lot of great things will happen. A lot of doors will open. And that's what we have to do at times. We have to challenge ourselves to leave where we are comfortable. And once we can leave where we are comfortable, you know, a lot more doors will be open, because, you know, maybe you wouldn't be at that right place at the right time to meet that person to open the door for you that you always want to get in. And, you know, so sometimes we just have to allow ourselves to get from out of what we are used to realize what is possible for us. So, man, you said a whole lot of great stuff. So my next question to you is, what change do you want to see in general amongst Black men? What change do you want to see in general among us? I know you mentioned, you know, we need to get rid of the ego. I know you mentioned that we need to take the initiative by taking chances, come out of our comfort zone. Is there anything else that you'd like to see amongst us as Black men?
Yes, a change that I would like to see is, I've got dreams, just like Martin Luther King. I like to, one of the main things I would like is educational. I want to see an increase in academic achievement, raising aspiration, reducing dropout, and importantly, is a collaboration aspect. No man is an island, as I said that before. So if no man is an island, that means we need to collaborate amongst each other. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm aware of many giants globally, in America, overseas, in England. We need to study our history. That's important. Self-knowledge, dream big. One quote that I've got is, do not be afraid to close your eyes and dream, and open your eyes and see possibilities.
Okay.
So we need to dream big, collaborate. And also we need to think strategically, 3 generations rather than just one generation. We need to do what others are doing, 3 generations, and we need to focus on excellence.
Yeah. Now, once we come together and focus on excellence, we will break down a lot of the barriers and realize, and even not only break down the barriers, once we start to think even strategically, we have to realize that some of the barriers that we think are there are just imaginary. We have to realize that, we can have big dreams, we can aim high, and don't think because that was how it was before, that is how it is today. So we have to think beyond what we hear that is possible. And once we can believe and dream big, we will put ourselves in our positions to get those opportunities. So I really appreciate that. So before I ask my final question, I want to ask you, or have you shared where the listeners can find you, support you, and, just to see what you're doing to make a difference.
The listeners can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Javay Welter. So I'm available on LinkedIn if they've got an account. I'm also on Twitter as Educate MFL. And also listeners can support by just encouraging young Black males, whether it is in education, in the workplace, or in society, to be great. And also what we can do, what the listeners can do is amplify and also celebrate Black males' achievements. If it's not done in the media, on social media, we need to be more inclusive in schools, society, and also in recruitment, be more transparent. So be an ally as well. That's one way you could support. And be an ally for lifelong ally. Be committed, not just a fad, but lifelong, because this is serious business, we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a one-off. This is generational. So be a lifelong ally. And also, importantly, in England, before I finish, we had our Black Male Teacher Conference, the first one in the UK. And if you want to see it, we've got things on my profile. It was done by the founders, Janoy and Albert. And this was a great initiative. So you can follow us on Twitter at Black Men Teach.
Okay, so the conference, is it already held for this year already, or it will be held later on this year?
It happened already.
Okay.
It happened on the 9th of July, and there's going to be a next one next year, I believe on the 7th of July, 2023.
Okay.
And this brought a lot of Black male teachers together for the first time. As I said,
Wow.
We need to come together. And we came across also the head teacher of the year, which was a Black male. The first time it's happened in the UK.
Wow.
Arthur Barzay.
That's awesome.
And he shared his story.
Oh man, that's awesome. As you heard, we need to come together, and you can find Mr. Welter on LinkedIn and on Twitter. I will also share his contact in the comment area under the video. But my last question before Mr. Welter leave is, what impact do you want to have on the world?
Very good question. An impact that I would like to have on the world is legacy, successional planning, and also inspiring generations, not this generation, but 5 generations down the line. And also that we are also part of this amazing giants Black history. So that's one thing that I would like to have on the world. Be known for someone who left their mark on the world. As you know, everyone is part of the puzzle. We need everyone. So I would like to be, known as an educator who was determined not just to make a living, but to make a difference to the life of millions.
Sir.
Just like what your intentions are, Dr. Richard. Yes.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And that's what we got to do. We got to think beyond ourselves and think about those who our work will inspire, even to realize that they too have greatness in them. And again, listeners, thanks for being here with us. I really appreciate. And if you haven't subscribed to the Black Male Impact as yet, please do. We'll be having many more conversations from Black men across the world to share their insight and how we can inspire positive change and help to change the narrative and the perspective they have of us. Mr. Welter, thanks again for being with us here at the Black Male Impact.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.